I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
What Trump is denying is that he drew the image in front of you, which is a love letter to Jeffrey Epstein, put into a book celebrating Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. And this also ties in the Labour government because Peter Mandelson was hired by them to be the US ambassador, and he too left some odd messages in Epstein's birthday book. But it gets worse because there are emails showing that Mandelson was still hanging out with Epstein after he was convicted. Which begs the question, why on earth have Labour and Starmer hired Mandelson back in, knowing full well he was hanging out with Epstein?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you.
And yet, Donald Trump's signature is at the very bottom of this picture. And it's being checked and checked and checked. It's his signature.
Verified versions of Trump's signature from around that same time period.
Of course, the White House are claiming it's a fake.
And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. And we have maintained that position all along. The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter. And that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to.
And Trump isn't the only one featured in this book. The book is highly sexualized and shows some very disturbing images portraying Epstein handing out balloons and sweets to little girls. And the messages from Mandelson include a statement of, "I love you."
As an intelligent, sharp-witted man who parachuted into his life, he goes on to praise the, quote, glorious homes he likes to share with his friends. He says, yum, yum. And he finishes with, wherever he is in the world, he remains my best pal.
But Starmer's government have come out and defended Mandelson.
Our ambassador has been very clear that he deeply regrets ever having been introduced to Epstein, and given what we now know about his horrific crimes, I mean, who would want to be associated with that sexual predator and paedophile? I don't think we should tar everyone with the same brush and do guilt by association.
But let's be clear, no one has stepped forward to complain about Mandelson's behaviour. What is at issue is Mandelson and association, despite what Wes Streeting just said there.
In June 2009, did you stay at the apartment in Manhattan of Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not answering any questions about him.
He was in jail at the time for soliciting prostitution from a minor.
And my knowledge of him is something that I regret. I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
So interesting that Mandelson avoids that question, but what I also find quite strange is Kevin Maguire asking these questions, even though he's the editor of the Daily Mirror, and we know what the answers are.
And I want to know the answer to the question, after Epstein was convicted of sexually abusing that young woman, did he stay with him? How did his relationship carry on? What did he do for him? Did he ever lobby on his behalf? Did he ever send emails, letters? Are they going to come out? Are there more pictures? What are those threats to him?
And Kevin posted the same question on his Twitter feed, and this is why it's quite weird. We already have evidence from other newspapers showing that Mandelson was staying with Epstein after he was convicted. And it's all from a 2019 report from JP Morgan, which has been published in several newspapers and cites multiple emails between Epstein and his banker Jess Staley. So, for example, in June 17, 2009, Epstein's writing from jail and he sends this to his personal banker Jess Staley.
Peter will be staying at 70 First Over weekend. Do you want to organize, either you or you and Jamie? Quietly, up to you.
71st is Epstein's £77 million mansion townhouse in Manhattan. And yes, Peter was Peter Mandelson. At the time, Mandelson wasn't just anyone. He was Britain's business secretary, first secretary of state, and effectively Gordon Brown's deputy prime minister. Then in March 2010, Mandelson himself emails Epstein about US financial regulations, writing,
"Can Yes send me email on issues re Dodd's Volcker?"
That's the Volcker Rule, a huge post-crash reform in US banking. And later in 2010 and 2011, Epstein notes that Petey, his nickname for Mandelson, was with him in Paris. These emails aren't gossip, they're court-filed documents. They show that Mandelson was still in Epstein's circle after Epstein's 2008 conviction. And the court case in question is JP Morgan settling Epstein lawsuits with the Virgin Islands and Jess Staley. And yet by 2024, The UK government appoints Mandelson as Britain's ambassador to Washington, the same government that knew these emails existed, the same government that tells us they're all about child protection. So the question is, why did the government ignore Epstein's emails and still hire Mandelson? And there's a link with Andrew here, because he lost his royal roles, his military titles, his reputation, he's been locked away in a castle to a certain extent, and yet Mandelson gets promoted and he's now a diplomat for the UK in Washington. Both men appear in Epstein's orbits, both names are in the files, so why is one cast out and the other embraced by government?
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times. At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one could have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do.
Then we have Epstein's neighbour who got interviewed only recently.
You want to know who I saw going in there? Mm-hmm. Everyone you've heard about.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see Bill Clinton going there?
Who?
Bill Clinton?
Yep.
Trump?
Yep. I think of the other ones. Andrew.
Prince Andrew. You saw Prince Andrew going there. And what do you think actually happened inside of this home?
All the most terrible things you can think of both. Yeah, you knew it. You know, they all come with security guards who park here or stand out here, so you can't miss it. Mm-hmm. And I saw plenty over the years. This is a long time ago now, before we knew what was going on. Just young girls. I mean, young.
How
teenagers.
old were the girls that you saw go in?
Well, because they were coming from schools. They were coming from public schools.
So to answer Maguire's questions...
And I want to know the answer to the question, after Epstein was convicted of sexually abusing that young woman, did he stay with him?
Yes.
How did his relationship carry on? What did he do for him?
From what we can tell, accommodation, introductions and networking, and the odd holiday or hospitality abroad. And this leads me to the final question. Why does the government keep protecting Epstein's circle?
What investigation is taking place into the allegations from Virginia Roberts concerning Prince Andrew?
So,
is she to be believed?
So I'm not going to talk about individuals, but what I can say is that I think what you're referring to is associated with Jeffrey Epstein, who I will talk about since he is deceased. And the position there is that we have had more than one allegation that is connected with Mr. Epstein, and we have reviewed those, assessed those, and we have not opened an investigation. This is what we have looked at. Is there evidence of a crime? Are we in the right jurisdiction? Is this the right jurisdiction for this to be dealt with?
It took place in London, so I bloody hope so.
And is the person against whom the crime is alleged still alive?
She was at the time of the recording.
And we have concluded that there is no investigation for us to open, and we haven't.
We know there are British victims and they exist today. We know Maxwell, Epstein's co-conspirator, is British. And we have court documents showing claims and photos of people being trafficked to the UK. And yet no major police investigation, no UK Epstein list. Instead, the government has offered a state visit to Donald Trump, another man plastered across the Epstein files. And when it came to PMQs today, it was really fascinating because the PM was hammered on Epstein, but it was always about Mandelson. None of the questions said, are we going to open an investigation in the UK?
This is interesting, Mr. Speaker. He says the ambassador has expressed full regret, but the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein have called for Lord Mandelson to be sacked. And just so the House is aware, in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child prostitution and sex trafficking that took place between 2002 and 2005. That is the precise period which Lord Mandelson called Jeffrey Epstein his best pal. Absolutely. Was the Prime Minister aware of this intimate relationship when he appointed Lord Mandelson to be our ambassador in Washington?
Mr. Speaker, as she and the House would expect, full due process was followed during this appointment.
What a total joke. I've just gone through a series of emails and evidence to show you that Peter Mandelson is a dodgy person, to say the least. And yet he's going, full due process was done.
That while Lord Mandelson was business secretary he brokered a deal with Jeffrey Epstein while he was business secretary, and that this occurred after Epstein had been convicted of child sex offences.
All I see here is when you're in Britain, the rules aren't the same for everyone. Victims are ignored, the powerful are protected, and the system looks after its own. And if that doesn't make you angry, you're just not paying attention.
With hindsight, with fresh information, many years later, we realised that we had been wrong to believe him. He's a charismatic criminal liar, we now see. And I regret very much indeed, I felt it like an albatross around my neck.
Let me know your thoughts below. What do you think of Mandelson, the government, the police, and the opposition parties? If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon and YouTube subscribers. You do keep this channel going and growing. If you'd like to become one, there's a link in the description. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.